Have you ever wondered how the wealthiest people invest their money? Well, today you're going to find out, because I'm going to break down the big mistakes many unsuccessful investors make, the investment strategy we use to invest hundreds of millions of pounds every year, and then I'm actually going to show you my own portfolio so that you can see all the details. Now, you probably all remember the story of the tortoise and the hare, where a hare and a tortoise go head to head in a race. Everyone expects the hare to win because it's a lot faster. But the hare gets cocky, falls asleep, and eventually the tortoise wins. You've probably heard this story a million times, but when it comes to investing, people seem to forget this childhood lesson because you're ultimately facing the same two options. On the one hand, you've got the flashy, hare-like investments, AI stocks, crypto, or whatever is hot right now, and get rich overnight. Or on the other hand, you've got the tortoise, predictable, reliable, and much more certain returns that the media are never going to be talking about. And this is the biggest mistake that I see inexperienced investors make every day. They get distracted by the hare, the news headlines, and the hot right now investments that promise quick and easy returns. And quite often this happens because these hot right now investments are usually very well disguised by the financial industry, highly proficient at selling its products. So I'm going to quickly run through these 5 red flags that will help you potentially spot one. If you directly own stocks, they're yours to buy or sell as you please. You can have your money back in just a few days' time. But with the products of the industry, your money is often locked away for many years, although they might not let you know that unless you ask. Or you might not find that out unless you have an emergency and need the cash quickly. So red flag number 1 is a lack of accessibility. Never, ever, ever sacrifice liquidity or tie your money into products for years at a time. The thing to watch out for here is exit penalties. Do not ever accept an exit penalty upon your money. If you're investing in a broad, diversified portfolio, your risk is spread across industries, countries, and markets. Diversification is the only free lunch that you get with investing. But with hot now and exciting investments like cannabis, car parks, legal financing, wine, green energy funds, private equity, venture capital, and the hedge funds, you're often sold as investing in a niche product. But what that actually means is you're putting all your eggs into a smaller basket. If that sector takes a hit, so does your entire investment. So red flag number 2 is a lack of diversification. When you're investing in big publicly traded companies like Apple or Amazon, their financials are an open book. But with many of these hot right now investments, it's much harder to see the full financial picture. The details are often hidden behind vague promises or incomplete information. And if you try to get that information, they won't typically give it up very easily. So red flag number 3 is a lack of transparency. Now, when you invest in the great companies of the world, you're investing in something tangible. But lots of these hot right now funds focus on upside potential rather than real value now. So you'll be betting on what might happen in the future, not what's actually bringing in revenue today. If those bets don't pay off, you're left with nothing and face the very worst type of risk, which is the loss of capital. So the 4th red flag is a speculative focus. Number 5 is one of those things as an investor you can control, and that is how much you pay. But costs with investment is an extremely complicated area, and without understanding exactly what you're paying for, what you're getting, and sensible benchmarks for each, it's impossible to compare and contrast to ensure you ultimately get the value you both want and need. The traditional investment industry is extremely adept at hiding fees, focusing only on investment advice and delivering often highly conflicted guidance. The first step to ensuring that you're saving for your own future rather than funding someone else's is to make sure that you understand exactly what you're paying for and exactly why. The simple truth is this: some fees are worth paying for in exchange for potentially massive value, but much of what I see often isn't. And the scary truth is, many fees are completely hidden and silently erode your future purchasing power and therefore your future freedom of choice in life, because you're simply not aware of exactly what they are and what they should be for each of the different categories of the services that you need. So because I almost never find an investor who can't optimize their service returns or the value that they get with the benchmark data on what they should be paying for, number 5 is hidden fees. So now we know how to avoid these hot right now investments and that we should behave more like the slow and the steady tortoise What does that actually mean? How do the millionaires invest their money? Well, everyone's situation is different, so I'm not going to sit here and tell you exactly how to split up your money, but I can share the broad principles we give to all of our clients and the ones that work across the board. And when I take you through my personal portfolio in just a minute, you'll be able to see exactly how this plays out in real world terms. So here are the 8 principles you should apply to any investment you make. Over the course of my lifetime, technology has evolved a lot. Take mobile phones, for example. As a kid, I used to use those dial-up telephones. As a student, I used a Nokia playing Snake. In my first job, I had a BlackBerry, and now I use an iPhone with an up-to-date operating system. Investment is the same. Investment science has evolved extremely fast like technology, but most people are stuck using an old investment phone with an out-of-date operating system. Many retail investors are at least a decade out of date with the investment science and technology that's now available. So step 1 is to update your own operating system by learning about the most up-to-date evidence from the Nobel laureates in economics, the scientists, and not the media. Number 2, run a cash flow analysis. This will help you figure out how much money you need and how long your money is going to last. For example, what are your expenses, what's your income, and then you can use these numbers to create a life strategy, which is a roadmap to support your goals and ensure that you're never going to run dry. Number 3 is to diversify like mad. Don't bet it all on one country, one company, or one industry. Spread your investments absolutely everywhere. Big companies, small companies, emerging markets. When one area dips, another might be soaring, and you want to make sure that you're there to capture it all. Number 4, budget. Stick to the 50-30-20 rule for your wealth to truly grow. This means budgeting 50% of your income on essentials, things like housing, food, and bills. 30% on discretionary items for things for you to enjoy, leaving you with 20% to invest wisely. Number 5, don't try and time the markets. Invest money whenever you have it. If you get a lump sum, get it into the stock market as soon as you can, because it's the time in the market that always works out better in the long run. I appreciate this is hard to do because it runs counter to how we feel and all of our emotions, but it's time-tested, sage wisdom. Number 6, be greedy when others are fearful. When markets do drop, don't panic. Buy more. These stocks could soar in value in the future and you'd be glad you bought at a discounted price. Number 7, think in decades and not days. The market has lots of ups and downs, but over decades it's completely undefeated. So always stay patient, as your time horizon is different to everyone else's and it's the only one that matters. And finally, cut out the noise. Skip the doom and gloom headlines. Focus on your plan and not the latest hype. So, how does this all translate into cold, hard investments, and how exactly do I invest my own money? Well, here is a visual representation of my portfolio. Firstly, you'll see that I keep as little as possible in cash, although my wife is redecorating my house at the moment, so I have a little bit more than usual. I then keep about 5% of my investable assets in the Dimensional Global Short-Dated Fixed Income Fund. This is my war chest to get me through any periods of future market volatility. Then the remaining 95% sits in what I call my family fortress, which looks like this. And that's it. You'll notice that there's nothing crazy or exciting here. And I do know lots of investors who do have a playpen of other more exciting stuff, but I'm content with being boring and effective. I'm happy to miss the potential returns of whatever is hot now in order to get the certainty and reliability of a systematic approach. I choose to implement via Dimensional Fund Advisors because the independent analytics we purchase indicate this firm gives me the greatest opportunity to efficiently capture the returns of capital markets. I rarely check my investments, I don't tinker with them, I add systematically and consistently. Whenever I have extra, that's exactly where it goes, and I'm going to do this for as long as I can. However, even if you understand all the concepts in this video, and you decide to copy my portfolio line for line, there's a big difference between understanding a concept and implementing a plan. And if you want to invest like a millionaire, you need to think like one. So check out this video next where I explain how to think yourself wealthy.